How do I access and test the voltage regulator on a generac 14 kW Guardian generator?
Hello. My name is I'm going to assist you with this. What are the model and serial numbers of the genset?
### model number, ### serial number. Thank you, your help is greatly appreciated. Relist, other. Haven't got an answer yet, would like to open to other texts.
Sorry, but I was at work when you responded. I work 2 jobs, and help on JustAnswer in the evenings. I just can't be online 24/7. On this unit, there is no separate voltage regulator. The VR is built into the controller. Testing is simple. Measure the AC output voltage of the unit. Then test the frequency. If the frequency is good, but voltage is low, the controller is bad. If frequency is low and voltage is low, there is an issue with the speed control system.
The generator is for our home and charges the battery through a trace inverter. The generator reads 60 Hz, and the inverter is reading 65 Hz. How do we adjust it, or is there something possibly broken?
How are you obtaining the frequency readings, and exactly where are you measuring it at?
My tester doesn't read frequency. The generator has a display reading the Hc, and so does our inverter.
Either could be off, or neither could be off. What you need to do is to get a meter that measures frequency, and test the frequency of the genset with the circuit breaker shut off. If the genset does indeed read 60 Hz, you have an issue in your inverter. If the genset display is reading 60 Hz, it is most likely running at 60 Hz. If your inverter is reading on the output, it could very well be putting out 65 Hz, or the meter could be bad, but the problem would be in the inverter.
I finally got a frequency tester. The AC output reads 116 under a load, 120 under no load. The Hc under no load is reading 67 Hc, and under a load 240 Hc. Any idea what might cause this? We did just replace the stepper motor. Is there any adjustments that might need to be done? Thank you for all your help. Your time is greatly appreciated. Our generator hasn't been running for months now, and we have a 2-year-old and a 4-month-old baby, and we are off-grid. Is there a way to change the generator from 240V to 120V? The gen pushes 240V and inverter is only 120V.
The Hc under no load is reading 67 Hc and under a load 240 Hc. I have seen this before, and I have never been given an explanation for it. But I suspect it is due to dirty power. Even with a true RMS meter, it happens. What I end up doing is breaking out the old analog meter to get an accurate reading. Sometimes a digital meter is just too sensitive. Is there a way to change the generator from 240V to 120V? The gen pushes 240V and inverter is only 120V. Off the top of my head, I believe this unit is an out-of-phase stator, which means it can't be wired for strictly 120. The only way to get pure 120 out of it would be to run it through a transformer. For the things that are going on, it will be much easier for me if you were to tell me exactly why you were looking for help in the first place. What is going on with the genset? What errors is the display showing?
I have had several errors coming up. First, the engine revved high and the machine shut off. Overcrank error, so figured out the stepper motor is trash and replaced it, also changed plugs and adjusted valves, etc. Now the gen runs but not well. I'm having hard starts and voltage drops under a load. Then I get input relay failure error on the inverter. I'm also worried the inverter might have gotten damaged, and the circuit board might be fried. I'm trying to learn as I go, and it seems like I bought a house with a system that was set up incorrectly from the start.
First, you need to just disregard the inverter. It is not a part of the genset, and I cannot help you with the inverter. I can only help with the genset itself. If you feel the inverter is an issue, just shut off the main genset circuit breakers to the inverter until we get the genset done. You stated that you had several errors coming up, but you only listed one, overcrank error. The overcrank error has nothing to do with the engine revving up like that. But from what you are describing, if you properly gap the spark plugs and properly set the valves, the next thing you need to do is to get someone out to test the fuel system. Unless you have had gaseous fuel training and have the proper equipment, this is not something you should do yourself. It is not enough to just test the gas pressure coming into the genset, it must be tested after the demand regulator, to make sure the regulator is functioning properly.
That is the only error the generator gave me. We have had the propane code check the fuel pressure. Someone mentioned it could be a bad rotor. Do you think that could cause the haywire reactions?
Most propane companies will only test the fuel pressure getting up to the genset, not what is inside the genset. There is a secondary fuel regulator inside the genset that must also be tested. Did they test it, too? For the frequency issue, it is remotely possible the rotor is at fault, but it would be extremely rare. Something that is slightly more common, although still rare, would be bad brushes/dirty brush holder. But as I also stated earlier, sometimes these readings just happen, and an analog meter must be used.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit justanswer.com/YTHI.